The cure. When you are weak, when you are down,
Oh, yes, you do.
when hope is gone, He will meet up to you.
Hey.
When you are weak, when you are down, when hope is gone, He will meet up to you.
Head. You can also read that in the book of Daniel 6 from verse 3. He said Daniel was preferred above all satraps, above all wise men, because an excellent spirit was found in him. There was not Christians that we are promoting them. Hidden kings that we are worshiping idol. We are able to discover a man that is carrying the right spirits. And they were able to promote a man that has the right spirit. Some people will prefer promoting their brothers. He said, this one is my brother. And that's why Nigeria has been facing challenges. That's why African countries are suffering. Because they don't understand values. They consider sentiments. This is from the same religion. This is from the same ethnic group. People say this is from the same race. And they were suffering it. Because they are considering things that are trivial. Things that don't make sense. They don't consider value. They consider some other sentiment. And that's why even during election, somebody that has suffered in the hand of previous leadership, or according to history, the work a man has done, you have suffered, and now a person comes and gives you a bag of salt that is not up to 2,000 naira. Buy a bag of salt of 2,000 and share it into small bags, and people will be hailing him, and they will put him in the throne, and they will suffer for another regime. It's stupidity, because people don't understand the place of value. That's why people prefer money than good name. And the Bible says good name is better than what? Money with silver and gold is better. So it's better to see like Pharaoh saw. He didn't consider where the person is coming from. He didn't consider who the background. But what he saw was value. And knew that there was nobody that has that kind of value. So how does God pay? God gives value to every individual. There is no individual that does not have value. And it is that value that God has given to you that He will translate to money. God will not make money for you. He will give you value, and you will translate that value into what? Money. Tell yourself, I will translate the value that God has given to me into money. See, how does God give you value? He gives you value like health, peace, strength, intelligence, skills, gifts, family, critical mind. He gives you value as men. There are men, human beings, men or women, even wise men and foolish men. There are foolish men God will give you. He gives you those foolish men as gifts, because they have been given to you for you to use them. Let me explain this. Do you know why? How many of you have seen politicians and you see their children that are carrying flags doing campaign? How many of you have seen it? Have you seen any imam or most of these pastors and you saw their children in the streets carrying flags and going around? Who do they use? How many of these radical Islamists that you saw that have been bombing themselves, how many of them are sons of politicians or the leaders of those groups? They know that the rich understand a principle that if they will be richer, if they will be more, if they will have more influence, they need to use the poor, they need to use the foolish, they need to use the unwise. So for them, even the foolish are gifts to them, because those foolish are the people they must have to use. Now, some people say that they don't want education, and they are carrying it about. But those people that say they don't want education are speaking grammar. They are educated, but they don't want other people to be educated. Because if they get educated, they will be wise. And their agenda and their program will be defied. So, how many of us know that God uses the wicked as gifts? There are dimensions of wicked men that also God will use as gift for you. See, God will never use the good to accomplish some deadly works. When he wants to raise judgment, he will not use good men. This thing might be sounding strange, but I'm telling you, when the children of Israel would commit certain things against God, he will leave them and laugh. Do you know what he will do? He will go and raise wicked kings. He will speak to those wicked kings and they will hear God. Everybody must hear God when God wants to use them. And so when God wants to work for you, he can raise anybody and that person will become his messenger. And he said about Cyrus, that Cyrus is my anointed. And Cyrus was a Hedonic king, and God was calling him my anointed. Because he has an assignment for Cyrus. And the same way, God can anoint somebody deadly because he has raised somebody to use as a tool for judgment. And so many occasions we miss it. There are times when we have prayed for revivals and revival will come. We miss revival because we don't understand the operational system of God. Because we think God must work and use the good. We don't understand values of God. So God can give you values as men. Skillful men, wise men, foolish men. Our challenge is ignorance. He gives us value and expects us to translate it. Now I turn back to the wisdom of Pharaoh. Number one is wisdom of finding dream interpreter. See, he has a dream. And he knows that this dream, I can't do anything about it. But I need somebody that will interpret it. And he was looking for somebody that will interpret the dream he had. If you read the book of Exodus 31 from verse 1, we can read it from verse 1 to 4 or thereabouts. God spoke about Aholiab and Bezalel. He said, I have put my spirit in them, and I've given them spirit of wisdom, spirit to walk in all manner of craftsmanship, to walk in gold and stones, in order to bring and interpret everything I have told you, Moses, all the revelation that I have given to you. There are people I have imparted so that they will help you interpret the vision. That's why there is no man of God that can do without the people. It's not possible. There is no man of God that can be effective without vision helpers. And so Aholiab and Bezalel might not be anointed, they might not be priests, they might not, be hearing from God. But there is something God did, and he did it for them because of who? Moses. And all the vision he gave Moses, he was able to send interpreters. He said, these people will translate the vision that you have seen, and it shall be manifested. Everybody now shall begin to see it, what I have shown you in the realms of the spirit. God will never do anything without sending interpreters on earth, without revealing it to human agents. Am I communicating? So the number two is giving him an environment to work. If you read down, you discovered that when he took Joseph, he said, now I'm going to give you the authority to work. He gave him his signet ring and gave him the environment, gave him wives, he gave him everything that he needed so that he will have the allowance to work. Give him every environment he needs to produce, to be effective. He was able to empower him to do that. Number three is that he threw away this I am in charge attitude. See, It is wisdom to know when to be foolish and when to be wise. Tell your neighbor, wisdom is knowing when to be a fool. Some of us, that's why we are having problem with our marriages. We are having problem because we are in charge. You see, I am the head of this family. And you want everybody to know it. See, I am the head of this. What I say is what must happen. Whether it is good or bad, you don't care. And you have said it. And what happens? How is your family? Wisdom is knowing when to soft pedal, when to allow somebody else to lead. You know, there are some people that cannot handle their finances. You are so kind-hearted that whenever you receive your allowances, before the next month, you have finished it and you didn't eat it, you dash it to people. And you have a wife that had a stronger will. You should know that wisdom is to hand over this finance to that woman. If you will have savings. Because you cannot survive in this life without saving money, without retaining that money, and without investing back. So now, wisdom tells you that if a woman is more discreet than you, he can calculate. He can measure. If we eat this one today, it will finish. So let us cut this yam like this. Hand over to that woman that can measure yam. Am I communicating? So that he will help you and live. Wisdom is knowing when to hand over some places in your families and empowering another person to handle it. Wisdom is knowing where to be the head and where you need to follow. Wisdom is throwing away pride. Throw away, I'm in charge. Throw them away. And know a person that carries what you need and know how to manage the person. There was a school where we put our children. And the school was not, it was a church. And the environment is just like this, where they have seats. You can't see anything that looks like, academic environment. But they have a teacher, a pastor, that was teaching them. So when we moved our children from a place, and that school was owned by a friend of mine, and the distance was very far. And we were doing that school runs, going to those distance, and we were not seeing commensurate difference in the, academic quality of our children relative to where we have been all the stress. So I will not consider that this is my friend, and because the person is my friend, it will be rubbing off on my children and they will not be developing. I had to move them out and then put them in that church. And under 1 month, Radiance was able to read well. And so some other people were telling me, oh, you see, this school, why did you allow? I said, no worry, leave them. That I have seen improvement in the life of my children because of the school. We never knew that the reason was because of one man. And that one man will take attention and teach them computer, teach them and has a pattern that he teaches them, and they understood and they developed. And that man the owner of the school could not handle this man that was there. He will not be paying him. After everything, he will owe him. And when the man left, everything that school had failed. Academics dropped. Everything dropped. And we waited. We did all we could do. And all we had to do was to do what? I have to move my children away from that. And after we moved our children, that school collapsed. It's no longer operating. Why? He doesn't have understanding how to manage value. This person is the secret of your success. Find a way to handle him, because it's the secret of your success. There are people that have secret of success as a man in their business. Like I have explained this thing here before, that if you have a man that can save very well, that man can save, save money for you, and is your manager. And at the end of the month, he was able to, make a profit of 1 million for you every month. And he will only, his expenditures, he spends like 200,000. and if you minus, you have profits of 800,000. And then you have another man that understands how to eat money. You see him package himself, and at the end of every month he's returning 5 million for you, but he's spending about 2 million on himself. Which one will you prefer to be your manager? So if you check the profits every month, you see the difference of 2-point-something million. But this one, you see him, he stays. Even some places where he's supposed to trade with money, say, no, I need to be, no, don't touch this money. You see, wisdom is knowing a person that knows what to do for things to happen. Value. And that's why most of the Christians remain poor, because they don't know who God has given to them. Your saving grace might be your wife. Your saving grace might be your husband, and you have missed it because you don't know. So he threw away I am in charge mentality in order to sustain what God has given to him as a gift. Number 3, throwing away tribalism, racism, sectionalism for professionalism, for excellence. And I've asked a question here before. If your own brother, your own blood brother, went to maybe a drug vendor, served a drug vendor, and now can miss drugs, and now you have a professional, a doctor, which is from another religion, not close to you, not your brother. And then the government said, I'm about to build a hospital in your community or in your family, and this is anybody that becomes a doctor will be taking care of your health, your family. Which one will you recommend? If this will work by your recommendation, will you recommend your brother to be handling your health issues, and the professional who is not close to you, that is from another religion, to handle health matters? Who will you recommend? Eh? Too many people will recommend their brothers, and their businesses are going down. They say, now my brother. Your brother you cannot rebuke. Your brother you can't tell him anything. Your business is going down, and your brother is the manager because he must be from us. And you remain poor. People say, hey, he's our member. Let our member do that work. Yes, it's good to patronize member, but patronize good workers. God will never promote any person that is not skillful. He will never promote a mediocre. No matter your service, serve him. Do whatsoever you are doing. He will not recommend you because his name is at stake. But you, as a Christian, you say, no, we can never do with all those. Leave them. They are from other religion. They are from so. And then you get a mediocre that will do work for you. And that way, he does a chair for you, the upholstery, and is your member. And if you sit down on those seats, he will be singing and dancing for you, singing Awilo for you. You prefer that one instead of excellence. So he knew when to throw away sectionalism. Finally, about his wisdom, he has understanding of delegation, delegating authority. Delegation. He knew where somebody should be functional. And he called him, see, you are doing this thing in my place. Anybody you say that must live, live. Anybody you say that must die, dies. And he handed over his signet ring. Delegated authority. So that somebody will have to work and represent him. That was what God taught Moses. When Moses was crying about the burden, he said that the burden of these people is too much for me. And God said, go and select 70 people that you know to be elders. That is Numbers 11 from verse 16. He said, I will come and I will take of the spirit that is upon you and I will place it upon them, and they shall bear your burden. Not the burden of the Lord. Not taking another spirit, but the spirit that was upon Moses. He said, I'm going to take it and I will place it upon you, and they shall bear your burden. It means you will no longer go around and be killing yourself. Why will you go and do something other people have been equipped to handle? And you are running around and killing yourself, whereas there are other people that can be employed. Do you know that some banks and some industries employ thinkers? They are paid to sit down and think and write program for success. And you see some people, always they are bringing innovations. They are paid for that. And somebody that does not know will say, why are you paying? What is this man doing? You are not seeing him running around. He's just in one office with his pen and paper, bringing ideas, writing programs. And you see people on daily basis, they will desire and design another way to take money from us. See, MTN or some other network will say we are doing promotion. And if you recharge, press star, so, and it will be multiplied. And they will tell you it will only last for 2 weeks. And now, you will recharge 1,000 naira and you will be in a hurry to finish it because it will only last for 2 weeks. They have multiplied it. What you have done is that they were able to burn your money faster. Somebody sits down and think that, and somebody says, yes, that is, if you want to, just press that one. And you do that. Some of them will do that and increase the tariff. If the tariff is supposed to be maybe 3 naira per second, they will increase it to 6 naira per second. You will not know. And you say your money has been increased, but they have increased the tariff. Somebody sat down and was thinking, and is making more money for them. And so, but our problem is that we cannot invest in people that will use their heads, the grace God has given to them, to translate, to make things work for you. We cannot delegate power. Because of my time. Now, what is Joseph's strategy? Remember that that man, Pharaoh, had what Joseph, the strategy of Joseph. You see, God gives you grace. He does his own part. He equips a man and expect that man to have plan and strategies. God will say to his people, he said, I have given you the land of AI into your hand, to Joshua. He said, now carry your men, plan, go and contend in battle. Already he has said, I have given into your hands. He said, go and contend with them. He spoke to Moses. He said, these men, all the Canaanites, the Hittites, see them, I have given in your hands. Take your sword, take your men of war, and go and do what? Contend in battle. So there is always God's part, and there is always our part. But first, you discover what God has done and leverage on that. You stand on what the Lord has done and do your own part of the game. And what was Joseph's strategy? He said, number one, look out for a man discreet and wise. That was the advice of Joseph. He said, now I have interpreted the dream, and let me give you solution. The dream is that there's going to be 7 years of plenty and 7 years of dryness. And now this is what you do to make sure that you are out of dry season. Because God has showed you, he has helped you with showing you revelation. That is your own part. Now, with the vision that you have got, this is your own part. Find a man that is discreet and wise. Number two, appoint officers in every nation. One man that is wise cannot handle it. What do? Get people, get officers, cast the vision to them, and then share them, give them duties that they will handle. Just like the governing system of Nigeria, where you have governors, and you have chairmen, you have councillors. They are handling various departments. He said, do that. Number 3, he said, divide the income into 5 and store it. What was that? He said, bring out 20% of everything that we receive. It was a workable strategy. He said, everything that comes into the nation, divide it into 5. Carry the part of it, the 5th part of it, and go and store. And while you are storing them, use the rest of those and find an opportunity, a way, a storage system that they will not decay. So they were able to develop their agricultural system, that they were able to keep those ones that needs to be dried, to store them, waiting for the dry season. So for the rest of the 7 years, they were storing 20% of everything they have got. Now, imagine you employing that in your own life. That you are making 100,000 naira every month. Let's say that is your salary or your income or your allowance. And you know that 20% of it is not yours. It means if you are making 100,000 every month, take away 20,000 from it, it is not your own. Which means your own is 80,000. Then every expenses and the savings you will have from it and whatsoever will be run with that 80,000. And then if you calculate it for every month for several years, you will see how rich you were. Our problem in Africa is that we don't have the ability to save. You are waiting for when you are a millionaire for you to save. If you can't save money when your income is 10,000 naira, you can't save when your income is 100,000. If you can't save when your income is 100,000, you can't save when it is 1 million. Because your challenges will be coming according to your size. People have challenges according to their levels. There are people, because of their position and their level, what they spend every month, just they spend on people, is 500,000 every month. Some spend 1 million every month because of their capacity. There are people that feed about 30 people in their family every day. That is their size. And when that person is saying, I don't have money, you will look at him and laugh. He say, this one, be deceiving yourself, you don't have. But really, he doesn't have money. Because what he's considering is his position. There are 30 mouths that I will feed today. So what is the quantity of rice those people will eat? The meat they will eat. The food they will eat. Then you will understand the running system of that house. And you have some people that it is only even very difficult to feed themselves. They are the only person they will feed. And they don't even eat 3 square meals. If they eat 1, is enough for them. Then you should know how, that human beings are relatively equal. Their expenses, their problem is relatively equal. The problem of the wealthy is the kind of problem the poor will reach, but in their own capacities. There are wealthy men that will never travel anywhere until there are security men that will go ahead of them. And they will stay on convoys because of their security. And you know what it means to satisfy those people, to maintain that security. But you can walk anytime, go anywhere, sleep anywhere. In fact, there are houses robbers will never come to. They will never dream about it. So they don't have problem of security. What will they steal? They know you. Even if they steal you, there is nothing, you will be a problem for them. You know there are people in police custody that the police are begging. Who owns this person? Nobody will come. They will release him. There are people, if you lock up, if you have problem, lock up, you go and bail them. Because they don't have anybody that will bail them. They don't have even money. So carry them and lock them. You spend more money on them. Thief, some houses are open. They will be open. And thief will be going around looking for who to rob. And they will see an open door and pass that one. What would they steal? Depends on people's value. Am I communicating? Everybody is relatively equal. Don't allow yourself to be threatened by the rich or by the poor or whosoever. Let me run and read all these things and we pray for wisdom, for understanding, and then we sit down and plan. Number 4, he say, provide a storehouse in every city. That was the strategy he was given to him. It means every city, make them store. Let them have understanding about savings. And it will make things cheaper. You don't carry all these things around. But wherever they are, let them provide storehouses. So every city that are under you have their banks. So that they will not have temptations for things to miss in transit, or that they will not save, because banks are closer to them everywhere. Let them save it. Banks, storehouses are everywhere. Develop storehouses everywhere. What they get, it will be easier for them to keep it there. And number 5 is developing marketing strategy that works. Whatsoever, that is the last place we'll handle, and the rest will continue some other day. Develop a marketing strategy. There is something God has given to you, but you need to learn how to market it, to sell it. Why we are poor is that we have been endowed, but we don't know how to present what we have so that it will be attractive, that people will buy them. I worked with ISO insurance company, and the first thing they told us is about how to package yourself to be presentable in order to prospect. He said, because under a few minutes, under some seconds, a man will decide whether he will allow you to talk to him or not. So while you are coming to a person, he has decided, this one I will not listen to him. You have not spoken. But your appearance, your courage will tell whether a person will accept what you have or not. And that was the first thing that we were taught. So now you are taught to dress well, taught to have a very good shoe, taught to clean your place, clean up, brush up, taught to apply, perfumes, body spray, so that while you are just walking across your aura, somebody will want, what can we do anything for you, sir? But there is a person that will be coming, you'll be walking and say, where is this one? Stop that person, stop him. Because of how you look. Developing a marketing strategy that will help you to sell what you have. There are people that are very short. They are blessed, they are low. And God is for everybody. It's for the low, it's for the high. In fact, he said to the low, he said, low, I am with you. So it's more with the people that are low. So it's with every individual. But if you are low, God is with you, but you need people to see you. Zacchaeus was in a place and knew he cannot measure with everybody. He had to climb a tree, sycamore tree. So if you are low, try to make things work so that people will see you. At least try putting up high heel and walk smart. You are low and you are lowering yourself the more. Am I communicating? He said, develop. Now, when they developed a marketing strategy, everybody knew that they have abundance and they were selling for profit. And all nations were coming and they were richer. Everybody was hearing them. They knew that in Egypt there is money when they don't have. And people were trooping there because they understood about advertisements. So what are you advertising? That's why some people cannot buy into your God, because you don't advertise. You don't have understanding that you need to present your God well. Even in preaching of the gospel. Some people have preached the gospel and pursued people that would have listened to them. Somebody is with the, hey, Trousis, you are a preacher of the gospel. You need to be sacked. You that is wearing trousers, you that is drinking, you must go to hellfire. Is it what God told you to preach? Is it a presentable way to present the gospel? You, hellfire for everyone. Hellfire, you are sharing hellfire to people that you should save. And the gospel will not be attractive because you don't have a right way to present it. Now we will pray. We have seen that Pharaoh has an understanding. Even demons, there is a part here that I want to show us. Even the doctrine of the demons, I might not show you that. The Bible says about a demon, they say when a spirit is cast out of a person, it was a message, a gospel by a spirit. It will be another title of a message, gospel by a spirit. And what was the gospel they were preaching? What was the mystery? The Bible says when a spirit is cast out of a person, they will go to dry places. It means they have gone, search around, and they could not see. They will not have rest. Looking for rest and finding none. Then he will say, let me go back to my house from where I was cast out. And he will now not go alone. He will now go and get other company, people, teamwork. He will get 7 more dangerous ones so that they will have a formidable force. Those 7 dangerous ones will come in. They are landlords. So he decides, let all these people come into my house. He doesn't want to claim the house alone because he will be cast out. Some people want to be sole owner of businesses they cannot handle. But some people that are wise will have teamwork. He will have this one, be a part of it, be partner in this one, be partner in this one, be has shares, and he will be bringing them money. But somebody said, I must do it. Everything, me, I'm the head, I'm this, so. Even spirit understands it. That there are people that are better than them, that they need to invite. Can we stand and pray now? God has a work he's doing in you.